Okay. 2 years later, on the day before Thanksgiving break, halfway up a deserted stairway in Althea Elementary, Horace Derwent appeared to Danny Torrance. There was confetti on the shoulders of his suit. A little black mask hung from the decaying hand. He reeked of the grave. Great party, isn't it? He asked. Danny turned and walked away very quickly. When school was over, he called Dick a long distance at the restaurant where Dick worked in the Key West. Another one of the overlooked people found me. How many boxes can I have? Dick, how can I have? Dick? In my head, I mean. Dick chuckled. As many as you need, honey. That's the beauty of The Shining. You think of my black grandpa's, the only one. The only one I've ever had locked away. Do they die in there? This time there was no chuckle. This time there was coldness in Dick's voice the boy had never heard before. Do you care? Danny didn't. When the one-time owner of the Overlook showed up again, shortly after New Year's, this time in Danny's bedroom closet, Danny was ready. He went into the closet and closed the door. Shortly afterward, the second metal lockbox went up on the high metal shelf besides the one that held Miss Massey. There was more pounding and some inventive cursing that Danny saved for his own later use. Pretty soon it stopped. There was silence from the Derwent lockbox, as well as the Massey lockbox. There, whether or not they were alive in the undead fashion no longer mattered. What mattered was they were never getting out. He was safe. That's what he thought then, of course. He also thought that he would never take a drink after seeing what he had done to his father. Sometimes we just get it wrong. Alright, chapter 1 is done. Chapter 2, Rattlesnake. Her name was Andrea Steiner, and she liked movies, but she didn't like men. This wasn't surprising, since her father had her for the first time when she was 8. She had gone on her for that same number of years. Then she had put a stop to it. First, popping. Oh my god. Man, this book is really, really graphic. I'm so glad that the movie wasn't this graphic than like in the book. Yeah, like I will tell you, I'm trying not to read certain things from the book in my videos because I'm trying to keep it family friendly since I'm posting this on YouTube. So there are certain things that I see that I'm reading that I have to leave out which is why I'm stopping at certain times because I don't want it to be, bad or inappropriate. So, yeah, so just want to let you know that. Okay. Uh, damn. Holy shit. Okay, moving on. Now that she's had years, 8 times before, she she was a wanderer on the face of America. An ex-actor had replaced the peanut farmer in the White House. The new fellow had an actor's unlikely black hair and an actor's charming, untrustworthy smile. Andy had seen one of his movies on TV. In it, the man who be president play would be president played a guy who lost his leg when a train ran over them. She liked the idea of a man without legs. A man without legs couldn't chase you down. Movies were the thing. Movies took you away. You could count on popcorn and happy endings. You got a man to go with you that way you would date and he paid. Yeah, that's very stupid. It's very stupid. This movie was a good one with fighting and kissing and loud music. It was called Raiders of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm. Her current date had his hand under. Uh, mm, she met him. She met him at a bar. She met most of the men and went on dates with uh within bars. He bought her a drink, but a free drink wasn't a date. It was just a pickup. What's this about? He asked her, running the tip of his finger over her upper left arm. She was wearing a sleeveless blouse, so the tattoo showed. She liked the tattoo too. Uh, they thought it was kinky. She had gotten in the San Diego the year after she killed her father. Whoa, and she's crazy. It's a snake, she said, a rattler. Don't you see the fangs? Of course he did. They were big fangs of all proportion to the head. A drop of poison hung from one. He was a businessman type in the expensive suit with lots of combed back presidential hair and the afternoon of whatever the whatever the uh, push paper pushing crap he did work he did work for. Ah, his hair was mostly white instead of black, and he looked about 60, close twice her age, but that didn't matter to men. He wouldn't have cared if she was 16. Instead, the 32 or 8, she remembered something. Her father had said once, if they're old enough to pee, they're old enough for me. Wow, that's messed up. Of course, I could see them. The man who was now sitting beside her had said, but what does it mean? Maybe you'll find out. Andy Andy replied. She touched her upper lip and her tongue. I have another tattoo somewhere else. Can I see it? Maybe. Do you like movies? He had frowned. What do you mean? You want to date me, don't you? He knew what that meant, or it was supposed to mean. There were other girls in this place, and when they spoke of dates, they meant one thing. But now, not with Andy, meant, sure, you're cute. Then take me on a date, a real date. Raiders of the Lost Ark is playing in the Ralato. I was thinking more of that a little hotel 2 blocks down, darling. A room with a mm. She had put her lips close to his ears and let her. Maybe later. Take me to the movies first. Pay my way and buy me popcorn. The dark makes me amorous. Makes me amorous. and there they were with Harrison Ford on the big screen, big as a skyscraper, and snapping a bullwhip in the desert dust. The old guy with a presidential hair had his hand under, but she had the tub of popcorn placed firmly on her lap, making sure he could get most of the way down the third base line, but not quite to. Uh, he was trying. Okay. At 2 p.m. on a weekend day, the movie theater was almost deserted, but 3 people sat sat 2 rows back from Andy's diner and her date. 2 men, one quite old and one appearing on the edge of the middle age, but appearance could be deceiving. Be deceiving. Flanked a woman of startling beauty. Her cheekbones were high. Her eyes were gray. Her complexion creamy. Her um, her masses of black hair were tied back with a broad velvet ribbon. Usually she wore a hat, an old and battered top hat, but she left it in her motorhome. This day you didn't wear a tall topper in a movie theater. Her name was Rosa O'Hara, also known as Rose the Hot. But the old Mamdik uh, family she traveled with called her Rose the Hot, like I said. Like I said. The man edging into the middle age was Barry Smith. Although 100% Caucasian, he was known in this big Asian family as Barry the Chink. Barry the Chink. Because of his slightly upturned eyes. Now watch this, he said. It's interesting. The movie's interesting. The old man, Grandpa Flick, grunted, but that's what he's just usually counters. He was also watching the couple 2 rows down. It better be interesting, Rose said, because the woman's not all that steamy. A little, but there she goes. There she goes, Barry said as Andy leaned over and put her lips to her date's ear. Barry was grinning, the box of gummy bears in his hand forgotten. I'd watched her do it there times, and I still get a kick out of it. Mr. Bozeman's ear was filled with a thatch of weary white hairs, and clotted with wax of color of shit of shit. But Andy didn't let that stop her. She wanted to blow this town out, and her fiancés were at the dangerously low ebb. Aren't you tired? She whispered in the disgusted ear. Don't you want to go to sleep? The man's head immediately dropped onto his chest and he began to snore. Andy reached under her. He placed it on the armrest. Then she reached into Mr. Bozeman's expensive-looking suit coat and began to rummage. His wallet was in the left pocket. That was good. She wouldn't have to make her give up off his fat ass. Once they were asleep, moving them could be tricky. She opened the wallet and tossed the credit cards onto the floor and looked for a few moments at the pictures. Mr. Bozeman. Oh, Mr. Businessman. Mr. Businessman? Oh man, we kept on saying Mr. Bozeman. Well, I was close. Mr. Businessman with a bunch of other overweight Mr. Businessman on the golf course, Mr. Businessman with his wife, a much younger Mr. Businessman standing in front of a Christmas tree with his son and two daughters. The daughters were wearing Santa hats and matching dresses. He probably hadn't been, but it was not out of the question. Men, this she had learned that her father's need to speak. There were over $200 in the bill compartment. She had been for even hoping for even more. The bar where she had met him catered to the better class of war than those out by the airport, but it wasn't bad for a Thursday manti, and there were always men who wanted to uh, take a good-looking girl to the movies. Where at okay, Rose murmured. She started to get up. I'm convinced. Let's give it a shot. But Barry, okay, okay. But Barry put his hand on her arm, restraining her. No, wait, watch this. This is the best part. Andy leaned close to the disgusting ear again and whispered, "Sleep deeper, as deep as you can. The pain you feel will only be a dream." She opened her purse and took out a pearl-handled knife. It was small, but the blade was razor sharp. Razor sharp. What will the pain be? Only a dream, Mr. Businessman muttered into the knot of his tie. Alright, alright.